my god. Not again. Oh man. That really tugged at my heartstrings. Damn you, EyeofSol Takahata. You've done it again. You've emotionally wrecked me. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy back with another video for Studio Ghibli Month, and today we'll be reviewing the beautifully made film, The Tale of Princess Kaguya. And joining me in this review is fellow YouTuber and proud Canadian, EyeofSol, who will be taking the reins in this review as I interject here and there. Take it away, Sol!
Hey everybody, Sol here. I have only one rule here: if it's animated, I'll comment on it. And I'm here today as a special guest of Black Critic Guy's Studio Ghibli Month to talk about one of their most recent cinematic openings, namely Kaguya Hime no Monogatari, aka The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Now, I may be an expert in animation, but I'm not really an expert in Studio Ghibli because I've really only seen one of their movies all the way through, and, well, I fucking love it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I bet you can't guess which one it is. Or, I mean, if you watch my show, you probably know which one it is, but I'm just going on the assumption that you don't. So anyway, yeah, time for a little history lesson. Kaguya Hime no Monogatari, aka The Tale of Princess Kaguya, is an anime movie produced by Studio Ghibli and adapted from the 10th century Japanese prose narrative Taketori Monogatari, or The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. The film was originally going to be released alongside another Studio Ghibli production, Kaze Tachinu, or The Wind Rises, in 2013, though the release was delayed until later that same year, and subsequently the film was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture in 2014, losing out to Disney's Big Hero 6. Another worthy candidate lost out to an admittedly decent film that year. But that's a story I've already told, so let's just tell a new one by looking into this watercolor wonder known simply as Kaguya Hime no Monogatari. To those of you not familiar with Japanese folklore, this plot may sound a bit weird. But the weirdest stories in the world often end up being the most enjoyable, yes? Anyway, the movie's plot revolves around a simple bamboo cutter, Sanuki no Miyatsuko, who finds a miraculous girl about the size of his thumb inside a bamboo stalk one day. Taking the girl as his own, Miyatsuko calls her Hime, or princess, and rejoices with his wife at their blessing. Hime grows very quickly and becomes friends with the other inhabitants of the mountain, including a young man named Sutemaru. However, when the bamboo grove bestows gold and fine cloth to Miyatsuko, he realizes that Hime must become a true princess, and moves her and his wife to the capital, whereupon she is forced to become a princess worthy of her miraculous birth and beauty. I'm going to be blunt here. I like this plot quite a lot, but not for its twists and turns or anything complicated like that. I enjoy it because it really does have an ethereal feel to it, worthy of its heritage as an ancient folktale. It's a simplistic story held together through strength of dialogue, character, and scenario, which is something I have nothing but respect for. Well, admittedly, some of the story elements are a little bit strange. You have to expect that out of a folktale, so I'm not complaining.
Now this film is EyeofSol Takahata's first film since 1999's My Neighbors the Yamadas, so about roughly 14 years. And I must say, it was well worth the wait, as what he gave us is quite a gem of a film. But don't take my word for it, take Sol's word for it.
Now then, prepare for the dump truck of compliments to come rolling round these parts. One of the best aspects of this movie is the story and how it unfolds with its characters and dialogue. Simply put, this movie is like a blossoming flower all throughout its runtime, in that its true beauty slowly unfolds over time, showing more facets and angles in which to be admired until the very end.
Ooh, wow, gay!
That is pretty gay.
Okay, that may sound a bit too, well, flowery for some of you, but that's my genuine feelings on how the whole movie unfolds, and it's truly a thing of beauty, as is the animation and designs. Truthfully, I can't say that this style of animation is my favorite, but it has a muted beauty and fluidity to it with its watercolor design that has its own unique brand of atmosphere and personality, and can certainly be engrossing even with its lack of a sophisticated color palette. The score is also extremely gorgeous with its ability to be joyful and sweeping, as well as quiet and contemplative, which serves to envelop you even further into the story and characters. Also, this is more of a personal thing, but this movie is just so steeped in Japanese culture that, like Mononoke, Natsume Yujincho, Noragami, and Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, I find myself very drawn to it, since I adore Japanese folklore and stories. In general though, this movie has a storybook style charm to it that, despite the admittedly depressing tale squirreling away in its depth, really does its best to endear itself to people of all ages, being cutesy and somewhat silly at times, but also deep and poignant with its heavier story beats, and I have nothing but respect for such a production. To put it in the simplest terms, this really is a movie that you can watch at any time, no matter who or where you are, and that, to me, is what animation should be all about.
You hit it right on the nail, Sol. The film's story is masterfully told, rich with detail and Japanese lore, which honestly does not come as a surprise to me considering the man who was helming the film to begin with, as Isao Takahata is legendary for his rich, beautiful, heavily Japanese influence and tragic storytelling. It's a true return to form for the writer-director.
So for the characters, let's start off with Hime, later given the name Kaguya Hime for the light and life that she radiates. Kaguya is a girl born from a bamboo stalk who shows great love for nature, from the birds to the bugs and the beasts. However, when she's forced to live in the capital in a huge mansion and comport herself like a princess, the happiness she feels slowly begins to ebb away. One thing I can respect a lot about Studio Ghibli is that they certainly have a knack for making child characters extremely likable, even to someone like me who despises children with all of my black and shriveled heart, and Kaguya Hime is no different. Even as a small child, she's very likable, since she has such a congenial personality and an infectious spirit that certainly makes her struggles with nobility all the more saddening over time. The rest of the characters are nothing to sneeze at, though they don't create nearly as much of an impact as Kaguya Hime. Still though, there's Sutemaru, Kaguya Hime's childhood friend, Sanuki no Miyatsuko, the bamboo cutter who discovers Kaguya Hime and becomes her adoptive father, Miyatsuko's wife, who's Kaguya Hime's de facto mother, Sagami, Kaguya Hime's governess who teaches her the ways of a noble princess, as well as Kaguya Hime's 5 suitors, all of whom vie for her hand in marriage. Like I said, all these characters are good, they just sorta complement Kaguya Hime's presence and don't have that huge of an impact on their own.
Yup! Totally agree with you there, Sol, although I would like to add that I absolutely adored the relationship between Kaguya and Sutemaru. It's cute, it's innocent, it's touching, and it ends very tragically, or at least it ends sadly. It broke my heart, honestly, and I loved their bond, I loved their friendship, I loved their sort of pseudo-romance that they had between each other, and I felt like when they were with each other, they always felt at home, they always felt at peace, and just seeing those small tender moments between them really tugged at my heartstring. I too also really liked Kaguya's parents. I understood where they were coming from and what they were doing in the film. They wanted to give her a very lavish life. They wanted to give her everything that they didn't have. That's what parents do. They want to give their kids something that they could not have themselves. So I saw where they were coming from, although because of them trying to give their kid what they think they want, they were blind to what she actually wanted and what she really needed. But this realization came far too late, resulting in the film's conclusion, which is both beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. Freaking Takahata, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop messing with my emotions and bringing tears to my eyes. I'm not even kidding. The moment that the final act came, tears just gushing from my eye hole. Like, I could not help but tear up at this scene. It was so beautiful, but at the same time it made me so sad.
Now then, after unloading that dump truck of compliments, I do have one small package of complaints, so let's just open this little guy up, shall we? No, before you think or say anything, the complaint I have is not a deal breaker in any sense of the word, but it is something I think could have been improved slightly. This may sound a little weird, but I think this movie is just slightly too long. Not that it drags or anything, quite the opposite really. I just feel like there are quite a few natural stopping points that get bypassed, making the ending feel just a little bit too played out. Like I said, this isn't a deal breaker, and I think many people would disagree with me, but hey, that's just how I feel. Kaguya Hime no Monogatari is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. Every single last piece of this movie just fits together so well, like a perfect peaceful puzzle of pulchritude, and yes, that last one was a word. What more can I say? If it weren't for the fact that it has quite a few chances to stop that may have been better than the stopping point it got, I wouldn't hesitate to call this one of the best animated films ever made. I give Kaguya Hime no Monogatari 4.5 eyes out of 5.
Overall, I agreed with everything that Sol stated in her parts. This is a beautiful, masterfully made film, and I do think that it will stand the test of time as one of the great animated films ever made. And that's why I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It is truly an epic masterpiece and something to behold.
Thank you all for joining me for my guest review on Studio Ghibli Month, and very special thanks to Black Critic Guy for this opportunity. And yeah, I think if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go watch that movie one more time. See ya.
But as always, guys, we're not the end-all be-all opinion when it comes to the Tale of Princess Kaguya. We would love to know what you guys thought about the film as well. Did you absolutely adore it? Is it your favorite film by writer-director Aizawa Takahata? Or is it really boring, slow, it dragged on for far too long, you just couldn't get into it? And let me know, what is your absolute favorite film that centers around Japanese mythology? Comment below and let me know. And I want to take this time to personally thank my special guest, EyeofSol, for joining me in this review. You did a tremendous job. I really, really loved your portion. In fact, I wish it could just be your portion and I didn't like muddy it up with all of my antics and all the words I had to say. I'm beating on myself, but truly, I loved her portion. It was well said, well done, it was humorous, it was informative, it's really good, and please, go show her some love by checking out her channel. There'll be a link at the end of this video and a link in the description. So go check her out, go subscribe to her channel, watch all her videos. She's an awesome gal, even though she's from Canada. Stay tuned, we got one more Studio Ghibli Month review, and then 3 special videos coming your way. So we're almost there. We're literally near the finish line. I can see it in the distance. Oh, I'm just running so fast so I can conclude this. So keep me in your thoughts, guys, as I try to finish Studio Ghibli Month on a high note. And as always, if you'd like to be a part of the Black Critic crew and not miss out on a single awesome Studio Ghibli Month review, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. And I'm 21 the Prince of the Moon, known as the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.